Kingdom Kickoff is back at you. It is coming in here to week 4. We are ready to roll. Clint Schweitzer back in action. I actually survived my trip to Indianapolis, believe it or not. It took me a few days, but I think I'm ready to roll here alongside Noah Groniger and former Chief Rich Baldinger. Rich, I'm back. We're got the Sunday night game here in front of a national televised audience, a defense in Tampa Bay that's playing top notch right now, and Rich getting some key pieces back offensively, and that could spell some problems here for the Chiefs today.
Yeah, it could. But let's begin with one thing. To all the people of Florida that are going to go through a tough time, this is a moment, these games tonight all come together, kind of forget about what Mother Nature did to us so we can move on. But again, my heart goes out for all the people after seeing some of those pictures down there, speaking to some of my Coast Guard clients down there in business. It's going to be a long, tough couple of years for the people. So anyways, best of luck to going to them down there. I know those people will come through because they're tough people in Florida and they'll get it done. Yeah, you're right. Tonight's a game for the Chiefs, guys. I'm telling you what, I'm going without the Chiefs t-shirt tonight. I'm going with the Pink Floyd, the Prism shirt. It's the Prism of life. And it starts tonight for the Kansas City Chiefs. The light shining through the prism is going to be Patrick Mahomes tonight. Last week, I tried to go with the Chiefs thing. Didn't happen. Nothing happened in the red. I'm sorry, guys. Can't go with that. Going with the bare walls, the Pink Floyd. I know we're going to get there tonight to the dark side of the moon where the money is.
Yeah. Don't worry, folks. Rich does not need to be rescued from a Turkish prison or anything just yet. That's always on the table, though. I mean, it's always in flux. So Michael Matthew also joining us, the Money Badger from Hollywood, California, where the Chargers get I'd say a big win today, but they kind of held on in a strange fashion there to beat the Houston Texans. So Michael, welcome to the show here as Chiefs and Bucs take center stage here tonight, Sunday Night Football. And, with all the pomp and circumstance and Rich mentioned the hurricane down in the Tampa area and just putting the pieces back together. Glad that this game could happen. For the Tampa, area residents and St. Pete area. Noah and I are still traumatized from Super Bowl 55, so you will never see us anywhere near Raymond James Stadium. But, Michael, how are you feeling coming into this sucker tonight?
No, man, it's going to be a challenge, knowing that Julio and Chris Godwin is playing. It's like, man, they're going to have all their weapons. Mike Evans is back. It's going to be a challenge, but this is what, we want to see are the Chiefs really that Super Bowl contender that we talk about them as? And games like this after a tough loss against the Colts, you want to see them like come out here and get a victory. Tom Brady has looked 45 years old. So let's see if the defense can keep him looking that way. And, we're looking for our offense to show us something, receivers, catch a touchdown, do something, to make us feel like, hey, we can make something happen. So this is going to be a great test versus a defense that is balling right now. So I'm just excited for the test, man.
Yeah, and I kind of want to go into the inactives here. There's nothing that kind of jumps off of the screen at you other than, again, Harrison Butker's out. We saw all the special teams problems last week against the Colts with our kicker, Matt Amendola, and now we go to Matthew Wright here. 8-8 from 20 to 29, perfect from 30 to 39. 5 of 6 from 40 to 49, has some trouble with the 50 plus. Apparently in pregame, he hit a 51 yarder, just short on a 56 yarder. So Rich, how important is special teams going to be and how much we're going to have to rely on this kicker, Matthew Wright?
Well, you were thinking a game like this, you're not going to want to kick field goals. You're going to want to put touchdowns on the board with Tom Brady. We all know what he's done in the last 2-minute drives. I think he's won 45 games in his career. He's got his weapons on the outside. Mike Evans coming back. This is the guy who can get deep and make things happen. So, and we can't forget about Leonard Fournette. He can still toast with the rock, man. I mean, he can haul with it. And they want to establish something. I think this is one of the challenges I got to give the defense. Last 2 weeks, under 100 yards rushing. So we've done some things up front. What can we do tonight? I think if they're going to beat this Tampa Bay team, you got to make him one-dimensional. You give Tom Brady any type of running game, he combines that with that short passing game. The ball's out in 2.4 seconds, the fastest quarterback in the league. I know the guy's 155 years old right now, but he can still wing it when he has to. So let's make it one-dimensional, and then we can mix up some of those blitzes and be creative in the back end and that defense.
Noah, I got to go to you on this one, my man, because we were there in February of 2021, Super Bowl 55. And I got to throw some names at you because these are the names that Chiefs fans might get all too familiar with again tonight. Up front, Vita Vea, one of the great nose tackles in the game. That's going to be a huge challenge for that interior of our offensive line. Then think back to Devin White, Levante David. Shaq Barrett said, hey, he doesn't see a difference with this offensive line. They look the same to him as the one that they decimated just a year and a half ago. So throwing those names at you, knowing how well that defense played and how many fits that they gave the Chiefs back in February 2021, how key is it to try to contain that? And remember, Travis Kelce, who's the best Chiefs weapon, who I'm told is the Chiefs' best receiver, which is a cop-out, could not get open. They were completely bracketed by this Bucs defense in that Super Bowl. So how's this Chiefs offense going to find its way? Because last week we saw some limitations. We saw the receiving core fail to get open. And by the way, newsflash, everyone, the Colts still not a good football team, and I'll stick by that all season long. It's still an inexplicable loss that I'm keeping with me right here in my heart. Noah, make me feel better.
I wish I could, my friend. The secondary. I mean, you've got Carlton Davis. I mean, Jamel Dean, Logan Ryan's back there at safety, along with Antoine Winfield Jr. They're going to clamp things up, and I think, you're going to see a tough day for Travis Kelce getting open. He's still going to get his. He's the best tight end in the game, but with Devin White and Levante David, they're definitely going to make things difficult on him. Up front, they don't have Ndamukong Suh anymore. They don't have JPP. But they still do have Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea. That's going to cause problems wherever they line up Shaq Barrett on either tackle, whether it's Orlando Brown Jr. or Andrew Wiley. We're hearing Orlando Brown's been dealing with a knee. I don't know if that's just an excuse he's giving the coaches after falling down on air last weekend against the Colts. But our $80 million man at left guard, Joe Tooney, is going to be lined up against Vita Vea. So he's going to have to earn that money, and he's got to do it here in Tampa Bay because this Chiefs offensive line is going to have to give Patrick Mahomes time so he can find some of these receivers that aren't getting a lot of separation, the least separation that Mahomes has had during his time here in Kansas City. These receivers are offering him, and so they're going to have time to get open, and this offensive line is going to have to play great.
I'd have to agree with you on that, Noah, tonight. I mean, we talked about this last week, and there were some struggles. Patrick's only been sacked 2 times, but that's how they misconstrue stats. He was running for his life, it seems like, every pass. So, 2 years ago, and that's before the Super Bowl, we played them, and we were able to do some good things with Tyreek. I think he had about almost 300 yards receiving. Yeah. But in that Super Bowl game, Kevin Ross, their secondary coach, he brought all types of those exotic blitzes. So I'm looking for that tonight. Levante David also inside there too, that linebacker. Look for these guys, different personnel. We've had some issues. The Chiefs up front have had some issues. I don't know why, if they've changed their protection, who's calling out what, but it seems like every couple of plays we're on the wrong page, and it's creating havoc for Patrick. So look for that tonight. I don't know if we're going to have to max protect. We were doing that against the Chargers and last week at the end of the game there against the Colts because we just had no success with letting Patrick get a 7-step drop and try to go vertical. So my bottom line is, if you want to go vertical, Clint, if you want to put the ball in the air, you got to let your quarterback get a significant drop. He's got to be able to stand in the pocket, let the routes develop. Right now, where we've been the last 2 weeks, it's going to be difficult.
Michael, I feel like that we got a little bit of a crossroads going on here. Maybe it's hyperbolic. Maybe it's too early in the season to start thinking about that. But after the loss last week here with this Sunday Night Football opportunity, to be able to try to get to 3-1 after those first 4 games, you'd look at that schedule early in July and August and say you'll take that absolutely. So how big is this? Do you feel like dropping to 2-2, which the team did last year, obviously fought its way out, to dig that hole again when you're trying to keep pace with some of these good teams in the AFC? How big is this? Do you feel like there's a bit of a crossroads tonight, especially with the Bills coming up in 2 weeks? This is an opportunity here, is it not?
Yeah, I think this is a big game, man. If you can, I look at shout out to Todd Haley, the great Chiefs coach of many years ago, but all jokes aside, he looked at the season in quarters, and that's the way I've been looking at the season as well. And if you can get out of this tough stretch 3-1, you're going to be like, hey, we'll take that, and we're going into the next 4 with starting off with a home game on Monday night against Vegas. So if you can leave 3-1 with this big win, you're going to have some momentum going. Remember, we have to relax when it comes to the offense because it's the first time Pat is playing with a lot of these guys. So he's trying to figure them out the same way Rodgers is trying to figure out his guys in Green Bay. So if you can come and get this big win, that means that the O-line has had a better game. That means you're going to have some guys catching passes other than Travis Kelce. So I think that it's huge. Going 2-2 wouldn't be terrible, but being 3-1 would be ideal, especially if, you look at Baltimore, who look like they're going to be very tough and maybe have a chance to play for home field. We know Buffalo is going to be there. And you know how it is. If the Chiefs can get home field, they would be the favorites without a doubt. So getting this win tonight will be big time for Kansas City.
Yeah, and Rich, I want to talk to you. We've talked to Michael about this on our show, Arrowhead Allies, Tuesday nights at 6. But I've got to ask you this because the receivers, we talked about how they're getting the least separation of Mahomes' tenure here in Kansas City. This is not a game for them to get right if they're looking for a healthy game to kind of figure things out because the secondary is so good. And we just saw Tyreek Hill on Thursday night have 160 yards receiving so far. Tyreek has played one more game. He's played 4, the Chiefs receivers 3, but Tyreek has 477 yards, one man versus R5. R5 has 430 yards, 47 short of Tyreek Hill on the season. Obviously, they'll pass that but by how much? Probably not much here. So just how much do we miss Tyreek and how can we get these receivers going? What can Andy Reid scheme up?
Well, first of all, you're never going to replace Tyreek. That was the physical specimen on the field. He's going down for me as one of the top 3 receivers to ever play in the National Football League.
I agree. Yeah.
Never been a tougher guy. Go across the middle, catch the ball. I mean, I can count on one hand how many years he dropped passes, and that was because he was doing some type of triple backflip or something trying to catch the ball. So, I mean, he was there forever. So, if we ever bring in anybody that matches him or is better, wow, we better get in an F-14 because you ain't going to be able to keep up with them. That's for sure. Yeah. How do we get better? Well, first of all, I think we need a little better balance in this game. I think right now you got to continue with this running game. We've got to have some type of mix-up. I don't think we can go too wonky on the passing, for lack of better terminology. Without Tyreek there extending the top of this defense and creating separation, you're going to have to make sure that short passing game, balls out quick. Let's keep the run game going. Let's get our running backs into the screen game. Let's get them up in the line of scrimmage. Let's get 5 out and get the ball out quick and maybe change the pace of the game. You saw today, I mean, I don't know how many teams I saw to change the game. They went with a little bit of a hurry-up offense. Let's try it. Let's just try to do some things. And tonight, that's going to be the key. I don't look for any home run ball tonight. I don't want to against this defense. I do not want to put my quarterback in any type of position where he's going to take a big hit. Let's get the ball out quick. Let's move it. Hurry up offense. I think that's where we can continue to move the chains. And I just think it's going to take a while to get these receivers. I mean, every route that you ran at Juju Smith at Pittsburgh, I'll promise you, everything he did is completely different here with Andy. When do you turn your head around? Are you counting steps? Are you counting yards? Where do you want to be? Patrick's so much different. So it just takes time. So, it's great in the offseason. Not be long-winded. You can sit here and read about, we signed this guy and that guy. But till you put all the pieces of the puzzle, especially you just don't have that long of camps either, So it really takes just a few weeks. And we've seen that with the Chiefs the last couple of years. It seems like it's 4 or 5 games before they finally really hit stride and get going in terms of both winning games.
Well, guys, Rich, when an offensive line is struggling, which, the Chiefs offensive line has struggled a bit. Last week, I'd say specifically, we're looking at here, Noah mentioned Orlando Brown kind of banged up. Trey Smith got banged up week 1. This isn't an offensive line that's just a completely leaky wheel here, but it's one that we expected more out of with the amount of money that's going on. So when this is happening, what kind of communication is going on between this unit, kind of dating back to your day, and kind of what would be the ways to start righting the wrongs? Is it technique? Is it communication? Is it coaching? What can this line start to do here?
Well, you got to begin to work as a unit. If the guys are struggling on the edge, then go ahead, max protect, keep a tight end and keep it back, or make sure that whatever you do, you block first. Let's keep our quarterback upright. The reason why Tom Brady's playing at age 45 is because in New England, everything went through Tom Brady. You protected him first so he could make his throws. Then you went out. we're going to have to do that right now. We've gotten in, and I have to agree with you, because I think Orlando, I think personally he's hurt. At last week's game, I really look like, I don't know what it is. He looks a little stiff-legged and balance isn't quite there. So I don't know if he's playing with a bad knee, but it looks like something to me, because he's definitely struggling. So help him out. But again, let's go short passing game. Let's go 3- and 5-step drops and get the ball out. Why stand in the pocket under duress? If you're not comfortable yet with your receivers and getting them downfield, creating separation, then let's go crossing routes. Let's do quick passing game. Let's do good combinations. Run a 9 and a 7, hit the guy underneath, as soon as you can on an out route and move the chains. That's the way I look at it. And again, I think our running game can go good if we just stick with it. But it'll be tough tonight. It'll be a good chest for us. Vita Vea, and when you play a 34 front, you got to block the nose. And he is one load in the middle. He's about 400 pounds, but he moves like a cat. So it'll be a real challenge for our front three tonight inside.
We got our guy, Brian B. Shining in here. You missed the Tyreek Hill talk. It's got to come when I'm a part of the show. But we've talked a lot about the offense, the run game, how to get these receivers going. But Brian B. Shining, you love this defense, so I got to go to you and ask you what this defense can do, because the Bucs are healthy now. Tom Brady may look 45 these past few weeks, but they've got Chris Godwin back. Mike Evans is back from a suspension. Julio Jones, Russell Gage, they're ready to go. Leonard Fournette, can't forget him in the backfield. What does this defense do to slow down the Bucs?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. I was going to say good morning, but yeah, we're far past remove that. But yeah, the defensive line, that's what I'm looking towards. I'm looking for Chris Jones. This should be his hallmark game of 2022. Hopefully not. Maybe he saves it for the Super Bowl, but for the time being, he owes from last week. And I think you're going to have a motivated Chris Jones. You got those interior linemen out for the Bucs. Starting center is gone. I think the backup center is gone too. So Chris Jones on the interior, he should eat today. Colin Saunders, he's been looking good this year, moving up and down the line, getting TFLs. And I'm looking for those DNs, Karlaftis and Frank Clark. And you've been seeing a lot of Dunlap getting some good penetration too as well. So I think the D-line could really eat tonight. Tampa Bay's D-line is talking about, they're going to get over Mahomes, and they're talking about our offensive line looks like the Super Bowl 55 O-line. Well, let's see if we can make the Bucs offensive line kind of look like that tonight.
We can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The left side of the Bucs was that guy Gotke, the left guard, and I think Walter's starting again at left tackle. Yep. They struggled against Green Bay mightily. There is no reason why we shouldn't pick on that left side of their offensive line and definitely make Tom Brady a little bit sore there tonight.
Yeah,
well, Rich, we got to get to your keys of the game here. So keys to victory when the Chiefs have the ball, when the Bucs have the ball. So take it away.
Well, with no Harrison Buckner, I'm not sure who's going to be kicking tonight. No, it might be you. They might bring in there. But how about that in the red zone? We just get some touchdowns 3 times down there in the second half. Last week, we came away with the field goal. Tell you, you play in a game like that, you will lose football games where you don't score in the red zone. On the other side, I don't care what you say. We got to make this team one-dimensional for Tampa Bay. No run game. There's one thing that we can all lay our hat down and say the Chiefs have improved. Is run defense. Let's continue tonight, and then you'll have your chances against Tom Brady.
Well, guys, it is prediction time. Brian, welcome. Glad you're able to get here just in time to hear me go real positive on this. Actually, take that back. I love the Bucs tonight. We're going to start with me because I like the Bucs 23-16. I think the Bucs are getting right and healthy at the right time to see this receiving core. Tom Brady maybe going down the road of a marital disaster, one that I can't relate to, but he's going to get right tonight with this group of receivers. Julio Jones coming back, Mike Evans back in the fold. That's going to really help get them downfield. And this defense, the way that they played, the way the Chiefs looked last week against that Colts defense, struggling. We're just going to have to keep hoping that Andy Reid can scheme some of these guys open and that we could get downfield and maybe establish a running game. I know that's ridiculous. Just throw that out. Forget I said that. And I just think the Bucs tonight in Tampa Bay, the Chiefs return to the site of Super Bowl 55, which was just a graveyard. And this looks like a 23-16 Bucs win. Bucs score a late touchdown to win it. Noah, don't let me down.
Yeah, you mentioned it there. The Chiefs are returning to the scene of the crime. I could never go there. I know I couldn't return to that
Never.
scene. I've got PTSD. Maybe Mahomes and Travis Kelce might as well. I want really no part of this defense, no part of being in Tampa Bay. I've got it 24-17 Bucs. Like you said, they're healthy at receiver. That defense is going to clamp things down. And while our defense is playing well, it's not going to be good enough. So the Bucs squeak out a win by 7. And they go on, and the Chiefs fall to 2-2 in the pack with the Broncos and Chargers. Michael, what say you?
Man, I think, like you guys were saying, like the guys remember, we came down here, we didn't leave with the Super Bowl. This is a payback game. I think that Mahomes and the guys will be ready. It's going to be a game that's going to come down to the trenches, and I think that the Chiefs O-line and D-line will outperform Tampa Bay's O-line and D-line. I have a 24-20. The Chiefs squeaking one out late. It's going to be a really physical game. You're going to see a lot of big hits. You're going to see quarterbacks being pressured. The only difference is our quarterback can actually get somewhere and move and make plays, where Tom Brady has looked like a big stiff, playing at 45. So I think the Chiefs would do enough to stop Fournette, and, Chiefs take this win.
Brian, make me feel – I love it, Michael. Brian, tip me over, make me believe. Let's do it.
I say I'm going to have to be Len Dawson on Inside the NFL. No matter what season, he always picked the Chiefs. RIP to the great Len Dawson. Look, man, I think it'll be a drag-out, knockout fight. This will be something that'll be done in the coach's seat. I think the players, we all know who they are. We know the schemes. But it'll come down to some crucial decisions that'll be made and some crucial third downs, some third longs, maybe some fourth and longs. And I'm taking Andy Reid all day. I'm taking him. I'm taking Spags. He's got this young defense just playing ferocious and wild and careless. And that's what you want on the road, especially against Tom Brady. You want to play with nothing to lose. You just want to react. You don't want to think. And so I think he got the defense playing great. They make a stop at the end. Chiefs win 2014.
Oh, I love it. Rich, you're the tipping point here. What's it going to be?
Well, inside the prism of life, as they say in Pink Floyd, the shining light will come through tonight. Patrick will throw 3 touchdown passes, 21-14. The reason why Tampa will lose this game is if you can follow them, awful in short yardage situations, a debacle in the red zone. And I'll tell you what, our defense and red zone defense has been playing pretty well. So I think the Chiefs come away. They win the turnover battle tonight. Remember that. They will win the turnover battle tonight down in Tampa. And yes, Tom Brady, it will be a lonely night. I will say no more than that.
Wow. Insinuating that the man may be sleeping on the couch, win or lose, Rich. And that's
well, let's put it this way. He might be sleeping on a couch. Who he's sleeping with, though? That's the big question. Boom! There you go. There you go. I threw it out there, guys. Threw it out.
We don't think that Ben Affleck's going to be there tonight. It should not be an issue. It's all good.
Tom M.A. Udoka Brady, huh?
Guys, it has been great to be with you here on Kingdom Kickoff, powered by Starcade Media. As always, enjoy Sunday Night Football, guys. Brian, I'm always with you when you say you don't like noon games. I kind of agree because I like the build-up. I like the spotlight, and that's what Sunday Night Football, which has become the showcase for the NFL. Now, they've done some retooling and broadcasters, free agency, and the transfer portal going all over the place, Thursday Night Football and all that. But Sunday night's the showcase. We get Chris Collinsworth, and it's going to be a good one, guys. So thanks for joining us, and go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.